Any presentation you create, it's going to have a slide master. It's the master of all the slides. So anything that he says or that you tell it to do, it will enforce it across all the slides in your presentation automatically. And that can save you a lot of time. So for example, I've got my 2 slides here, but let's say that I had 50 slides. And I want to be able to include our company logo and name on every slide. Well, if I didn't know anything about the slide master, I would insert the logo and then also type in the company name and then select that, copy it, paste it on slide 2, paste on slide 3, paste, oh, that's just a mess. That takes too long. Instead, let's go to the slide master view and put it there on the master, and it will automatically pull that in on all slides within our presentation. So to go to the master, come up here, click on the View tab, go to the Master Views group, and it's right there, the Slide Master. Now you have a Handout Master and Notes Master, but right now we just want to focus on our slides, and you can see when I hover over it in the pop-up, it's the Slide Master view. And in that view, you're going to have master slides that control the look of your entire presentation, including colors, fonts, backgrounds, effects, and just about everything else. You can insert a shape or logo on a slide master, for example, and it will show up on all your slides automatically. Again, can save you a lot of time, especially when you have a lot of slides and you want something across all the slides within your presentation. So let's go ahead and click on Slide Master, and this is one way to get to the Slide Master view. Click on it, and there you go. You get a new tab called Slide Master to let you know that, well, 1, you're in the Slide Master view, and 2, all the commands and features that are proprietary to that view. And then to close out of the view, well, come over here and click Close, and you're back in the normal view. Now there's a shortcut to get to the Slide Master, and that's by coming down below on the status bar. And I know it says we're in the normal view because it's highlighted, and then when you hover over it, it pops up normal. But when you hold down the Shift key, normal disappears. With the Shift key held down, when you click on it, hey, we're back to our Slide Master view. And then of course you don't have to click on Close. You can just come down here and click on Normal. Well, don't hold down the Shift key, just click on Normal, and we're back to the normal view. Now like I said, any changes that you make in the Slide Master will update all the slides. In fact, you can see that when I click on my logo here and I try to select it, can't do it. Can't even do that on the text gobs. Why? Because it didn't originate in this view. It's on the master. So if I want to make any changes to it or add additional things to propagate on all the slides within my presentation, got to go to the master. So let's come down here, hover over normal, hold down the Shift key, click on it, and we're back to the master view, which looks a lot like the normal view. I mean, you got your thumbnail previews and then your working area. But what are all these slides over on the left-hand side here? That's more than I have within my presentation of 2. Well, let's scroll to the top. And of all the slides, you have one, that's your big one, the head honcho. And that's the master of all the masters. And in the pop-up it says Apex. Now that's the name of the theme that's being applied to the master here that updates all the slides down below, or these submasters. And we'll talk about those in just a minute. And then it says the name of that is, well, let me go back off and go back on, is the Slide Master. And it's used by slides 1 through 2. And I only have 2. So the master slide updates every slide throughout your presentation, where the submasters only update a specific layout or a slide that has that specific layout within your presentation. So when I hover over this one's the master of the title slide layouts. And you can see it's used by slide 1. And then this one down below is for the title and content layouts. So anytime I insert a slide that has a title and content, if I select it, come over here, make changes to it, it'll update that and any other slide within the presentation that has that layout, title and content. Well, you remember, don't you? Back in an earlier training video when we learned how to insert slides, the different types of layouts. That's all these are here, is those that are available when you insert, that these are the master of those layouts. So I call them the submaster because they're just proprietary to that specific layout, where this master tells all the layouts to get into line with whatever it says. So select it, and here's the master of it. In fact, you can see when I hover over the ghost, I can select him, resize him, move him around, and put him wherever I want, and it propagates on all the layouts. So if I, delete him, you can see he disappears from all the others down below. Well, let me go ahead and hit undo because I want him back. But remember, as a quick review, that when I want to insert a slide, well, I can't do it with the Slide Master open. For example, if I go to the Home tab even, and click on New Slide. Can't create new slides. So I've got to close out of the Slide Master here, and I can do that by coming over here and click on Close Master View. And then I can come here to the Home tab to the new slide, click on it, and there you go. Well, first off, you have the theme name, Apex, and we'll go over themes in another training video. And then down below, the different layouts that we talked about, that we have a master for each layout, or the submaster to the master in the Slide Master view. So you've got a master for the title slide layout, you've got a master for the title and text layout, and then you have the master of them all. So if you want to update all the layouts, well, go to the big guy, the number 1, in the master view. So let's do that. Let's go back and hold down the Shift key and click on Normal, and come back and scroll up. And you can see the line that's connecting from the master to all the different master layouts or submasters. Because it's a hierarchical structure, they're all connected to the main guy here, so whatever he says goes, and it updates all the others. Otherwise, you can break away and just say, okay, just update it proprietary to this layout, and only these layouts that I have within my presentation. So with it selected, this is the title, and we've got our title up above, and then we have the subtitle. So if I want my title slides to have a different type of style, go ahead and select the text to show and apply the different styles that you want to apply to the title slide layout. And after you select it, you can change the font type, add italics, underline. Let's do the color red. In fact, let me click off of that and do something even kookier. Let me click on the border and drag the title down and put the subtitle. I know you're not supposed to do this. Subtitles don't come before titles, but what I want to show you is that when you make changes, some of the changes will be updated automatically and some will only take effect when you create a new slide. So for example, this has everything to do with the title slide layout. Hover over it and you can see it's used by one slide, and so let's go ahead and go to the normal view and see what it looks like. Okay, so it automatically affected and changed the color of the title, but it didn't rearrange the title to go down below with the subtitle to have it up above. So like I said, some changes will update automatically, some changes won't take effect until you create a new slide. So if I want to create the same slide here, slide 1 for slide 2, then let's just come up here and click on New Slide and go down, and oh, there you go. You see that thumbnail? The subtitle, the big thick blocky box, is up at the top, and the title, the skinny long rectangles down at the bottom. Well, go ahead and click on it, and there you go. We get the red, and now with the new slide we also get the flip. And so it won't affect slides that we already had previous to this session, because before I started recording I already had this created. And so now that I open this up and it's a new session, it looked at this and it said, we're not going to rearrange those text boxes and apply it to every title slide you have in the layout. We'll just go ahead and quickly apply the color. In any case, let's go ahead and hit undo several times and undo everything. And then let's go ahead and do it for the master. So we got the master selected, so it's supposed to update every slide within the presentation by updating every layout. And in fact, I don't think it's going to update every layout, at least not in this theme, because you can see that it's not doing that already, because the color for each title is purple, right? And it propagates and goes down to the sub-masters here, all except this guy right here. Let me hover over him. That's gold. That's section header layout. And then also down to this guy right here, which is the content with caption layout. See, it's not in purple. In any case, let's go ahead and scroll back up, select the master. Let's go ahead and click and drag and change it to red, and then go to the normal view. And it updates the first slide. Doesn't update the second slide with red, but with it selected, hitting the enter key on the keyboard, any new slides that I add from this point forward, it will have it here because, hey, I see red. Well, if you want one final example to kind of hit this home, let's go back down to the master view. Well, normal, hold down the shift key, then to master, and scroll all the way to the top. Click on the master of all these subs here. And let's go ahead and insert. Come up here, click on the insert tab. Let's do an online picture. And let's do a happy ghost. Hit enter. I have my particular favorite happy ghost, and it's this guy right here. Ooh, I like him. He's got a nice smile. Check. Click insert. Oh, and he's huge. And did you see that? Updated on every single slide. Well, let's make sure. Oh, yeah. He's happy on every single submaster layout. And of course you can select him, hover over one of the resizing handles, push him in, and then pull him out of the way, because I think all the other submasters or layouts don't have anything over on the left hand side, so that was my choice. And even if it did, I mean, you can go ahead and rearrange these and it will affect that layout. So your title, and I think it's to content, let me hover over it. Yeah, to content layout. You can go ahead and rearrange this. You can go ahead and change the bullets when you get to that point. So when you click and it's using that blocky bullet for that text box, well, you can come up here. Let's click on the Home tab and go to the paragraph group. You can change the bullet and you can change it to arrows. And so that's going to affect the to content layout. So anytime we add it, it won't have a square as we had it, as you can see over here, but a nice looking arrow. And then let's go ahead and view this in the normal view, and oh, he's happy to be part of the presentation here. By default, you only get one slide master. If you want an additional slide master, well, come up here if you're in the slide master view, go to the slide master tab to the edit master group, and then click on insert slide master. Now, why would you want to have 2, 3, 4 more slide masters? One reason is that if you want an additional theme, you need to know that the slide master, well, this guy, the master of all the others down below, those submasters, can only handle one theme. And the current theme that's being applied to the master that updates all the submasters is, as you can see in the pop-up, Apex. And you can find that over here on the slide master tab in the edit theme group. It's right there, click on themes, and there it is, hover over it, and it says Apex in the pop-up, and it's used by all slides. So don't think that, well, with this submaster selected for the title slide layout, that you can come in here and go, hey, I'll just apply it so only the title slides will have something, what's that? Spiffy. Oh, I like that. So if you click on it thinking that, forget it. Again, the slide master can handle only one theme, and when you think that you're applying it to one of the submasters, no, it actually goes to the master and updates all the submasters. So if you weren't watching this training video, you'd think if you had 100 slides in your presentation, and you're trying to break it up, like maybe the first 50 have one theme or background color, fonts, and effects, and then the last 50 another type of theme, well, you'd be at a loss. But instead, I'm going to show you, let's go ahead and hit undo, that you can add, scroll back up to the top, another slide master. Now when I insert another master, basically it's going to have the same slide master for that second master group. I'll call it the second master group because this is the first one. And it'll essentially have the same submaster layouts, like for the title slide layout and for the title and content and so on. So to go ahead and insert a slide master, well, come up here in the edit master group, click on insert slide master, and there you go, number 2, and you'll notice it's naked. It's got the Emperor's new clothes. It's got no coloring, background, fonts, or effects. Well, we're going to go ahead and fix that in just a minute. But before I can come up here and quickly and eagerly click on the drop-down arrow for themes and apply a theme, you need to know that, you see that little push pin next to it? Hover over it. It says, this master is preserved. What's that about? Well, if you come back up here in the Edit Master group and hover over the highlight Preserve, you can see in the pop-up, preserve the selected master so that it remains with the presentation, even if it's not used. And it's not being used because I just barely inserted it. So it's trying to preserve it from being removed. In other words, PowerPoint's saying, look, if you're not going to use anything within like the second master, either like one of these slides, you can go ahead and tweak. I mean, it's the same thing, title slide layout to what's up here. Hover over it, title slide layout. So that brings up a good point. It's not just about backgrounds and themes, but you can have a different title slide to choose from if you select it and can make some tweakages over here, some changes that is. But let's keep it simple. Let's just talk about the background color. So with that preserve on, it's telling me that I cannot apply or make any changes to it without unpreserving it. If I deselect preserve, unpreserve it, because it's not currently being used in the normal view, applied to any of the slides, PowerPoint's going to want to delete it. And it will prompt you. It won't delete it. It'll say, can we go ahead and delete this? You're not using it. And you'll say, no, I just barely inserted it, but thanks for asking. And then you can go ahead and apply a theme to it. And then once you apply a theme, then you go to the normal view and update that to one of the slides, and you're good. So let's go ahead and do that first before we do anything else. So if I ignore this, the preserve, and leave it preserved, highlighted, and I come over here with this selected going click on themes, And what's this? There we go. Oh, that's spiffy. I like that. And I go ahead and click on that and it updates it. Wait, it didn't update it. You see what happened? It added an additional slide master number 3. What happened to the second slide master? Well, it's preserved. It can't handle any changes, so it just reverts and says, fine, hey, I'm passing the buck. I'm preserved. Go get somebody else, and that somebody else came in. So let's go ahead and hit undo. So what we need to do is when you see it preserved, come up here and deselect it, and then it prompts you. It says, hey, look, you're not using this. Can we delete it? No, we just wanted to start using it. So with the master selected, we can come up here, click on themes, and say we want something spiffy. And there you go. And that's it. It's not currently being used in the presentation, but that's okay, because when I close out of here, as long as I'm in the same session basically, and I haven't closed out of the program, I can, well, let's come up here to the title slide, right click on it, and let's go down to change the layout, and hey, looky there, we got the original master, the Apex theme, and their layouts, and then down below, our spiffy slide master. Well, it's the theme that's being applied to these submasters here, and there's the title slide. So if I select that one, oh, that's fun. Did you see that? It applies just to the one and doesn't update all the others because that one is based upon the second master, and these two are on the first. So you can cherry pick. You can say, okay, I want slides 1, 3, 5, and 20 to be tied to that master with any, background colors or themes, as you see here, and any other changes that you could do, the layouts, those submasters, for that second slide master. But I digress. Let's keep it simple here. So you can go ahead and right-click and update those slides. And also when you want to add a new slide, well, there you go. Something spiffy, you can choose from that, or you can come down here and choose from the second slide master or the options, colors, fonts, and effects, and layouts underneath slide master 1. And you know what? You actually don't have to have these names here, Spiffy and Apex, because when I'm giving a presentation, it doesn't make sense, or when I hand it off to somebody else and they're not familiar with what these are used for, you can actually rename these and say, okay, instead of Spiffy, you could say this is for the first part of the presentation, maybe about what we do, how we do it. Then this is for the second part about donations. So I'll show you how to rename those in just a second. Let me go ahead and click off. Now, if I go back to the slide master, because we have that second master being applied to this first slide, it's being used in the presentation. I come down here, hold down the shift key, click on normal, and I scroll up. You can see when I hover over it, slide master used by one slide, and more specifically, it's the submaster that has the layout being applied to it. So yes, it's got the theme from the slide master, and it has a layout from the master of that layout, the title slide layout. And so if I come up here and I select it, and I preserve it, I unpreserve it, it's not going to freak out and say, hey, we want to delete it because it's actually being used in the presentation. Now, this is a warning. If you unpreserve it, and you go back and you remove all of the slides that have the slide master 2 applied to it, well, I mean these, like the title slide layout, and it's not preserved, it'll wipe this clean. Let me show you. Let's come down here, click on the normal view, and well, I only have one, but if I right click on it and I go, nah, I'm not going to use the second master here, the title slide, I'm going to go ahead and come back and use this one right here, select it. Okay, it flips it because I was messing with it earlier, as you remember. And then I'm like, okay, that's nice, and I go back to hold down the shift key and click on the normal so we can go to the master view. Is it here? No, it's gone. Oh, I just wasted all that hard work. Well, I warned you, and hopefully this training video is a good example of what not to do if you want to keep it. So whenever you insert a new slide master and you unpreserve it to work on it and you apply it in the normal view, it's probably best before you go to the normal view that you check preserve. Now if I go ahead and hit undo and it's back, and then I come back and I hover over normal, click on the shift key, what I'm saying is that you may want to come here, select it, and preserve it. So that way it's locked. Well, it's locked. You can't make any changes to it. That's fine. But that way, maybe days later when I come back and I'm not in the master view and I'm not really thinking about it, and I go to the normal view and I'm like, I just don't want this here. Let me right click and then go down to layout and let me just go back with the title slide here. And I go, oh no, did I just lose it? No, because you had it locked or preserved. Hold down the shift key, click on normal, and scroll down, and whew, we're good. It's still there. So it's a good idea to basically think of it like a lock. Insert the next slide master, make your changes, lock it. You need to make changes, unlock it. After you're done making changes, quickly lock it. That way, if you remove it from all the slides in the presentation, it doesn't get lost in case if you want to use it at a later time. Always preserve it. Hey, in this case, it's good to have preservatives. And so, as you can probably see by now, it's not just about the background colors, fonts, and effects, but it's also picking which slide that you want to go with. Like for this layout title slide, you can come in here and make some changes and say, okay, I like this in red. I'd like it to be a lot bigger, bold. And then maybe for some slides you want that title slide, and then for other slides you want, that you're going to use the title slide, you want it flipped where the title slide is, way at the top, away from the subtitle down below, and you're moving that around. So you have two different title slide layouts to choose from, including the background colors and the fonts and the effects. And so that way, again, let's go to the normal view, and I right click on it. That's what I currently have. And if I'm like, no, let me go with that title slide, go ahead and select it, and just know, let me go ahead and select it, and wow, that gets bigger and it gets more annoying. That red's really bleeding. Quick, undo, undo. And did I have it preserved? Well, then we go back to square one, because if I didn't, I would have lost it all. And in essence, if you wanted to, you could have two slide masters with the same, themes, background, colors, fonts, and effects, and just say, okay, for the first slide master, I want the title slide layout to be arranged this way, and then I want a second option for other title slides within my presentation to be arranged another way. So you could, when you right click on it and go down to layout, you could have, again, the two themes that are the same, but with, variations with the title slide for the layouts. So you may have 5 titles throughout the presentation. You want to have something that introduces from that point forward based upon a different master. Now, I did talk about how you can go ahead and rename these. So let's rename them from Apex to say, okay, for this slide master, that will be for our what is GOPS. And so when we're talking about what we do, how we do it, and this one will be for donation to GOPS. So from slides 3 on, we don't have that many slides. We could say, let's just apply something that's softer and not so spooky. So to go ahead and rename that, so when you're working on this, making changes or inserting new slides, you don't look at it and go, what is Apex? In any case, again, that's the name of the theme, but we can change that. Hold down the Shift key, click on Normal, and let's scroll up and right-click on the first slide master and come down to Rename. And there you go, Apex. Now this is for About GOPS, and click Rename. So let's scroll down here and right-click and go down to Rename. And it's, of course, it's spiffy, but we want to say Donate to Ghost or Paranormal Society, rename. And then we're good. Let's go ahead and come down here in the status bar, click on Normal. And when I want to insert a new slide or right click to change it, click on it either way. And hey, all these slides and layouts is for About Us. When I get to another section that talks about donations, and it could be a literal section. We talked about that in an earlier training video. Or just from this point in our slides, like slides 3 on, we'll be using anything in here when it comes to talking about donating to us. Because we could have 5 slides, like the first slide, hey, we need your donations. Slide 4, this is how much we need. And slide 5, this is where you can donate. And just use the same slide master here. Its submasters, the different layouts and themes, colors, fonts, and effects. Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel to get notified of the latest videos. And for great specials on my products, please see the description below this video.